boys and girls. Today we're going to be reading How Rocket Learned to Read, and the author and illustrator is Tad Hills. We know that the author writes the words and the illustrator draws the pictures, and for this book, Tad Hills did both of those things. Quick fun fact. This is the author and illustrator, Tad Hills, and that dog he's holding is his dog in real life. And his dog's name is Rocket, just like the character in our story. Now when you hear this sound, you'll know it's time to turn the page. Make sure to use your 2-finger claw and gently turn the page. Here we see the dedication page. A dedication is the expression of a friendly connection or thanks towards another person. For this dedication, Tad Hills writes, "To Gulliver and Rocket, and to all the little yellow birds out there, especially Auntie Kate, who was one of the best of them." Rocket loved to play. He loved to chase leaves and chew sticks. He loved to listen to the birds sing. Every fall morning, after chasing leaves, Rocket would lie down in his favorite spot under his favorite tree. There he'd sniff the neighbors' smells and settle in for a good nap. But one day, a little yellow bird startled or scared Rocket. "Aha! My first student! Wonderful!" she sang. Rocket was confused. "Student? I'm not a—" "But if I am your teacher," the bird interrupted, "then you must be my student." Rocket found it hard to argue with this bird. Argue means to express an opposing or different view. The bird said, "If I am your teacher, you must be my student." To argue, Rocket could have said, "No, I'm not." But, like the story said, Rocket found it hard to argue with the bird. Do you have any ideas as to why he felt that way? "I'm so glad you saw my sign," the bird chirped. "Oh, yes, I can see it," Rocket said, "but I don't know how to read." "Can't read? Fantastic!" She waved a wing. "Welcome to my classroom." "But I just came here to nap," Rocket said. No, there will be no napping in class," declared the bird. "Except, of course, during nap time." "Well then, I can take a nap over here," said Rocket. "I've had a very busy morning." "Not to worry, I'll be around every day," chirped the bird, "until the weather turns." Let's dig a little deeper with some close reading. So here we have a picture of one tree in the 4 seasons of the year. There's fall. Do you know the other name for fall? Yes, it's autumn. Look how smart you are. Okay, so there's autumn, winter, spring, and summer. The little bird says, "She will be around every day until the weather turns." What season do you think it is now? What evidence can you find in the picture to support you? What season do you think the bird might leave for? Can you explain why you chose that season? Now would be a good time to pause and hear some of our ideas. Okay, back to our story. As Rocket breathed in the crisp air, the little yellow bird hung her banner. A banner is a long strip of cloth bearing a slogan or design. This banner has the alphabet on it. "Ah, the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet," she marveled, "where it all begins." Marveled means to look with wonder or astonishment. So she's marveling over the letters of the alphabet, and she says, "where it all begins." What do you think she means by that? Wondrous, mighty, and gorgeous are all synonyms, meaning they are words that mean the same thing as other words. Instead of just saying pretty or powerful, the author chose to say that the banner was wondrous, mighty, and gorgeous. You could try to use wondrous or gorgeous instead of just saying, "That's pretty." When you use new words, you will impress your family and friends with your vocabulary. This is a word toolbox. How many words do you have in your toolbox, and how can we add more to that? Opening up a book, the bird began to read. She sang out the story of an unlucky dog named Buster who'd lost his favorite bone. A cool breeze carried her lively voice across the yard. At first, Rocket was disturbed or bothered. But before long, he found himself captivated. That means it had his full attention. To Rocket, the story was as delicious as the earthy smells of fall. It was as exciting as chasing leaves. He closed his eyes and listened to every word. As Buster dug and dug under the lilac bush, the bird read, he felt something familiar. Here's a picture of what a real lilac bush looks like. Rocket waited. Was it the bone? He wondered. Silence. Was it the bone? He called to the bird. More silence. Was it the bone? Rocket hollered. Suddenly he was rushing to the tree. Well, was it? But the little yellow bird was gone. The next morning, Rocket arrived early. At last, the little yellow bird appeared. Hello! How wonderful to see you in class, she chirped. I can tell by your waggy tail that you are well rested. I'd like to hear the end of the story, please, said Rocket. That seems like a fine way to start the day, chirped the bird. She gave Rocket a name tag and began to read. If you look closely on the board hanging on the tree, it says the word of the day, and the word of the day is dog, D-O-G. Every day, Rocket returned to the little yellow bird's classroom. In the morning, the bird taught him a new letter. Can you see what letter she's teaching him here? Yes, the letter L. L is for leaf. Leaf. Until he had learned all of the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet. Together they sang out the sounds that each letter makes and spelled the sounds they heard around them. With a G and many R's, they spelled Mr. Barker's growl. Grrr. They spelled the sound of the wind, which was growing colder by the day. Whoosh. Soon they were spelling words like fall, F-A-L-L, for the gusty time of year, and red, R-E-D, for the color of the leaves. And each afternoon, the bird read a story. She read stories about dogs and birds. She read about leaves changing colors and about birds flying south for the winter. Then one day the weather turned and the letter banner disappeared. See you again in the glorious spring, the bird sang. And as she flew into the wintry sky, she called, Don't forget, words are built one letter at a time. The days grew shorter, and the leaves fell from the trees. The grass became crunchy. Soon Rocket's classroom disappeared under the snow. He remembered the little yellow bird's alphabet and practiced his letters. Rocket thought about the bird's sweet chirp while he sounded out words. Like dig, d-ig, dig. And wind, w-ind, wind. And cold, k-old, cold. He made new friends and spelled their names. Hello, Emma, E-M-M-A. Hi there, Fred, F-R-E-D. He spelled everything. Sun, S-U-N. Melt. M-E-L-T. Melt. When Rocket spelled mud, M-U-D, he knew that spring, as it always does, had returned. The breeze blew warmer, the grass grew greener, and a sign appeared. Class starts tomorrow. Early the next morning, Rocket rushed to his classroom. As he waited, he spelled wag, w-ag, wag. Soon the little yellow bird arrived. "Aha, my star student," she sang. "How wonderful to see you. I can tell by your waggy tail that you are ready for class." The sign says, "Welcome back, Rocket." Then, together, they began to read. They read stories about birds flying north in the spring. They read about picnics in the warm sun. And they read about Buster, the lucky dog who found his bone under the lilac bush. And when they were done, they read it again, and again, and again. A-G-A-I-N. The end.